where are you stuck? Like, what are the challenges you're going through right now? Like, if you had to answer in the chat in one line, why you didn't buy a business yet, what would be that answer? What's holding you back so far right now?
The
Go ahead.
biggest thing for me, I think, from a fear perspective, is feeling like you're going to go out here and waste all this time talking to business owners, talking to financial people, kind of go down this whole road, build up this momentum, and nothing really happens. And so, like, you spent like 6 months, 9 months, or whatever, this period of time in your life that you just kind of don't get back. And it's like, and I know typically with anything, it's typically harder once you start, uh, and once you get momentum, and you're always gonna see up and downs. I understand that, but it's just like kind of getting that first one. I think that's just like with anything. It's like, once you get the first one,
Yeah.
then things kind of keep going. But I think it's just that fear of how long is it gonna take, and how much time is it gonna take, and do I have? Obviously, we want to have the time to take it because the rewards are great. But that's where my fear lies. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. So here are my thoughts, right? Let's start with wasting time talking to business owners, right? Without nothing happening. It's interesting, right? But then I guess something to ask is, what's the alternative? Oh man, it's kind of interesting to see that in the end of the day, every business challenge is a personal challenge. Like every business issue is an HR, they call it HR, like human resources challenges. Like it's fascinating to actually see that. Like it's all about people in the end of the day and ourselves and our limiting beliefs and what we think we can or can't achieve. So let's go one by one, right? And thank you all for sharing that. I think it's worth ranting a lot about that. So in terms of wasting time, yeah, I would ask, what's the alternative, right? What are your other options? Like starting a business from scratch, what's that? I mean, there's a lot of promises out there. People will promise you to build, I don't know, to be a millionaire, starting a business from scratch within a week or a month or three. I'll tell you what, I know a lot of the people out there who are kind of like promising that. It's not the case. Like even if someone promising you, hey, you're gonna make 10,000 a month very fast, or 100,000 a month very fast, um, you know, like first of all, it's not the case. Like usually people take years to build a successful business. And even if there are some unique case studies of people who start a business from scratch and become really successful really fast, usually if you dive in, you understand they have some background, they have some experience in the past, and they understand the sector and what's been going on there to be able to start something from scratch and be successful at it, right? So I'm saying that just to kind of compare it to the alternatives. So that's first. It's kind of, I'll ask you like, cool. So if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to waste time on that, what's the alternative? What else? Is it staying in a job? And I don't know if you have a business or not, Justin, or you have a full-time job, but I'll go through both, right? So if you have a job, I would ask, cool, what's the alternative? Like, and if you want to stay where you're at, maybe you want to stay where you're at, right? But if you don't want to stay where you're at, I would kind of get pissed off a little bit. I think that helped me a lot in the past. Like just get pissed off a little bit with where you're at and decide, I don't care how long it's going to take me. Even if it's going to take me 2 years to buy one business or 3 years, or you know what, even if it's going to take you 5 years, you're going to do better than those who start from scratch because you're going to skip the startup phase. Most startups won't get to a point where they're making $1 million a year in revenues until they're at like, I don't know, year 3, year 5 at least. I'm talking businesses started from scratch without raising capital from VCs, venture capital firms, etc. And even if people do raise funds from venture capital firms and investors, most of them fail. Like period. You have every now and then like an Airbnb, one out of like thousands of businesses, but it's like becoming like the next LeBron James in the NBA. You know, it's the percentages are so much against you. So now look here in our case. So and then I'm going to answer also if you were a business owner, right? So a lot of you here are business owners and your other alternatives, yeah, let's just grow organically, right? Let's grow one client at a time. Let's test new products. Let's spend some money on research and development. I can tell you there's a lot of people who message me in the past that spent 50, 100, sometimes more, like 200, $300,000 to test a new product in different markets, or first of all, to create the product, second of all, to test some money on ads and see if there is even a demand, right? So for business owners, I would tell you, look, that money that you're going to spend on research and development, just spending on buying a business with a proven product and proven market and a list of clients and more employees and talent and all that. So instead of looking at it as wasting time, just look at everything as a learning experience, right? And I would say focus maybe less on kind of like the goals and focus more on the habits of what skills you want to learn here, right? So you're learning so much without even noticing. By going through the process of trying to buy a business, you learn so much about marketing, about sales, like negotiating with people, like marketing, like reaching out to business owners, right? If you're using all the stuff we're showing in the fast track, like doing LinkedIn stuff and email stuff, those are skills that will help you either way, even if you're never going to buy a business at all, just so you know. Probably the most important skills in business you're learning: doing marketing and doing sales. Negotiations is basically sales. Doing marketing is the deal flow, right? The two most important skills in business, any business. So I would look at it as just the skills that you're learning, the business stuff that you're learning by talking to business owners. I'm telling you, and for some of you here, you probably talked to a few business owners already. Just by talking to a few business owners, going deep with them, you will learn more about business. And I'm sure a lot of you already do. You'll learn more about business by talking to actual successful business owners than you will, doing, I don't know what, anything else. Like go and read hundreds of books and compare it to having like a 2-3 hour long conversation with your business owners about specifically how his business is running. You will learn more about business than most people out there know about business. You will learn about actual operations of a business, about understanding that a business is messy at the end of the day and everyone just trying to figure things out in their own business. And you will have specific knowledge about that sector, about that location, about that product and service. So you're learning so much here. As weird as it sounds, it is about enjoying the journey, and it is about being committed to the process more than being committed to the results. Because it's like getting in shape, right? You want to get in shape. It's more about like living as a healthy person, right? Which is like working out as much as possible, eating well. Same here. Be committed to the word of deal making or business in general. Because again, the skills you're learning here are business in general. Then it means going out there and every day talk to business owners, talk to financial partners. And even if at some point you'll want to have other alternatives, I'm telling you, the skills that you're learning here are going to help you for the rest of your life. So
can I chip in?
Yeah, of course. Angela is, by the way, yeah, go ahead, Angela.
I'm really interested to try and learn to understand why the comments, obviously, that I'm hearing from the people in the group is they're latched onto limiting beliefs, wasting time. I mean, you also have to think about the time it would take you to actually build a business from scratch. How many years do you think that's going to take? Because when I started mine, it was like 3 to 5 years of time had to be put in before I actually started to see the other side. You have an opportunity right now to walk into someone else's business. It's already finished, already has the staff, has everything in place. And you can't look at this as something where you're afraid of wasting time. You're learning something new every single day. Do you want to learn something new working for someone else and being told what to do? Or do you want to learn something new to grow to your own freedom? That's the only thing that I would have to say on that.
Yeah, and I also want to mention some of the other notes that, like, I forgot who wrote what, but one of you said biggest fear is what people will say as you take huge risk. So it's in terms of taking a huge risk, it's fascinating to see how it's all come back to us and our limiting beliefs, really. What isn't risky nowadays, like in this life, in this world, like everything is risky in the end of the day. Heck, I mean, look at the world we're living in right now, right? Like, I don't care what's going on, it is risky. You go out in the street, it is risky. So you take a risk if you want it or not, period. That's the case. So it's kind of like, accept that. Do you guys agree? You're taking a risk to be alive. So it's kind of like, would you rather take a risk going towards something that you want, towards a goal, or do you just want to kind of stay away from potential pain?